Thanks, everybody. Welcome to Build. I am your host, Ricky Camilleri. Our next guest is the hilarious comedian and actor you've seen on Undateable, The Kroll Show, and of course, in that music video for Justin Timberlake's Trolls song. He's also a voice in the movie. Now you can see him in his amazing, hilarious stand-up special on Comedy Central, Ron Funches, Giggle Fit. Let's take a look.
One of my favorite activities recently is just like staring at women in winter coats. Ooh, what's under there? Oh, I just kind of get high and then mumble into a microphone. Did you know that was a lucrative profession? Okay. You might be aware I'm the father of a 15-year-old son named Malcolm, who has autism. He speaks in mostly like little catchphrases like, eat shit, daddy. And I'm like, oh, that's the autism talking. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, the Beyonce for boys. I mean, if The Rock was hitting on me, if his muscular finger went against the nape of my neck, oh. I mean, I like to think I'm straight, but in this days, and you know, who really knows? Maybe I am a rock bottom, I don't know.
Everybody, please put your hands together for Ron Funches.
Thank you.
Sir, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Congratulations on the special.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I just found out about a bad feeling that I never knew I would go through that is unique, which is having people watch clips of your special in the audience and hearing no one laugh. That was such a harsh feeling to go through.
I think we have to, I don't, sometimes the clips throughout the day, some are funny and some are not. And I think we have to really establish beforehand, these are funny clips.
I think the clip should do the job.
I was laughing.
No, it's okay.
Welcome to the show. Good to have you.
Good to be here.
I am curious, there is a lot different about this stand-up, I think, than maybe your earlier stand-up. You've grown as a person. Mm-hmm. You've become a professional within the comedy industry, right? Does it feel like your stand-up is different or your approach to the material is different?
I think I just have a better confidence about it now. It's I'm not afraid to talk about the things that I want to talk about. I think a lot of my early comedy, I think when you start comedy in general, you're just trying to get the audience to be on your side, and you're trying to make everybody like you, and so you're like, oh, I'll write what the type of things I think they want me to hear. And now I'm just kind of writing about the things that I love and enjoy, which is a lot of my specials about my family, my son. It's about me setting goals, vision boarding, stuff like that, just whatever I'm into.
Which I found inspiring. I think generally people who like comedy and comedians can be fairly cynical, and it's nice to hear someone say, I vision board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I set goals, business plans. If you don't, you're an idiot. That's how I look at it. But it was also those type of things that I got made fun of, for doing those type of things, and also my voice and things of that nature. And I've learned that a lot of those things that people make fun of you or that set you apart are the very things that are valuable about you and that you can use to your benefit. So I'm just doing that now.
Your son, as we saw in the clip, is 15 years old, right? Mm-hmm. That means that you have been raising your child throughout your ascent in the entertainment industry. What was it like when you decided that you were going to move to LA, that you were going to pursue stand-up? I think at that time you you were taking care of your son at that moment, right?
Yeah, when I moved to LA, I was freshly divorced, and then I moved out without him for about a year, and then I moved him in with me, and I got sole custody of him. If anything, I guess the main word is that it's motivating. I had my son was 3 when I started comedy, so I knew I couldn't really just play around and go to bars all the time and just get faded. If I was going to do comedy, I needed it to treat it like a job because I had someone who was reliant on me feeding them.
How did you treat it like a job at that time?
I just kept doing it. When I didn't want to go, I would go. When I was bombing, I would go. When people just didn't seem to like what I was doing, I was like, I'll figure it out. I'll just keep working at it. And started my own shows, did my own little events so that I could get like a little bits of money and just worked little part-time jobs. But my main focus was that, especially my son has autism, and he was diagnosed when he was 2. And having the son with a disability and not knowing if I was going to need to, if he was going to be able to work, not knowing if I was going to be able to provide for him financially, even after I'm gone. You know, it's something.
Or if he was going to need a care worker,
Yeah.
right? Like,
well,
while
that
you're
was one of
working.
the things that I didn't want. One of the times when I first started comedy, me and my ex-wife, who was my wife at the time, we went to this park and I saw a group of caretakers with some disabled adults, and they didn't treat them very nicely. They were treating them as more if they were like prisoners or people that they could just yell at and tell what to do. And that was pretty much the moment where I was like, oh, I need to make a lot of money. I need to make sure that even if I need a caretaker, I need to be someone who's so well paid that they will treat my son with respect. And if either way, I need to make sure he's taken care of.
That's incredible. I mean, that I can't imagine a bigger motivator than the well-being of your son.
Yeah. I can see it. Some people go the other way and they just like, forget you on your own, kid.
Not
Okay, now they know I'm funny.
Yeah, you had to be mean about taking care of your son to get
Well,
them
they just
to laugh
have to
and
get to
sing.
know me. I know it's normally like really, really famous people here, so this is a new experience for them.
You're fairly famous. You're a very recognizable face. In fact, you know, when I was introducing you, I said you would know him from the music video for the Justin Timberlake Trolls video. The Trolls video, because I have to say, I knew of you before Trolls. Like, I remember seeing you on Kroll Show and seeing you in other things and just knowing that you were this really funny presence and having heard of your stand-up. And then when you appeared in the Trolls video, I was like, what is he doing in the Trolls music video?
That's my MO. That's what I want people to say all the time. That's what I like doing. I pop up everywhere. I was like in Nailed It. I was in Chopped. I was in Cupcake Wars. And just mostly so people go, what the hell is he doing here?
Well, it's because you just don't. It's a Justin Timberlake video. It's the video. It's the song for this big animated movie, and then you're in there like in an arcade or a laundromat or something like that, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm one of the trolls. I'm Cooper. I mean, I am a troll, so I mean, I wasn't just like, hey, he's here.
I then had to go research. I was like, oh, he's one of the voices in the movie. It makes sense that he's.
It does make sense. I love doing that. That's a great job. I mean, I think, like I was saying, people made fun of my voice my whole life, especially when I was a lot larger. They weren't used to a 300-pound dude that sounded like an Asian princess. But I found out that casting agents like that. So
Yeah, it sets you apart. You're the only person who sounds like that.
yeah. It's great, a little speech impediment and moving around a lot, and I got a weird voice.
What was do you remember when a casting agent told you that your voice was unique and was going to do stuff for you? Did they ever say anything?
I just after a couple of shows, sometimes people would be like, I love your voice. You should be in cartoons. And I was like, I would love to be in cartoons. Please put me in cartoons.
How do you find yourself getting on things like Nailed It and the other shows that you mentioned? Did you tell like your agents and your team, put me in anything that would seem random to my fans?
No, I mean, people bring stuff up to me, or there's just opportunities that come up, and some of them I turn down. But I know a lot of other comedians, there's kind of this thing of like, we just do stand-up, be a pure stand-up, and you is kind of looked upon as kind of selling out to do those other types of things. But I just like having fun, I don't like being bored. I don't want to do the same things every day. So anything that I can do that takes me out of my comfort zone, I like to try. And anything that's going to introduce me to a new audience of people who haven't seen me before is one of the reasons I'm here today, But people who don't know me, or people who wouldn't, if you are a comedy nerd, if you're a real comedy nerd, you probably already know me. But I want your mom to know who I am. I want your aunt to know who I am. I want your niece to know who I am. And that's to me how you build an audience and how you build a career. So that's why I like doing those type of things. And they're fun and they're evergreen, and I get the most compliments from people going, oh, I just liked you on Nailed It, or I saw you in the Fyre Fest documentary and you were the only thing that was funny, so you were great, Oh, he was in that Fyre Fest documentary. I love.
Did you know that you were going to be in it, or did it air and then everyone told you that you were in it?
People just told me I was in it. I saw it and I didn't get paid, so that festival just keeps screwing people over.
It's such an interesting moment, the way that you're used in it, too, because it's a moment in the documentary where they're talking about whether or not people sort of deserve to be ripped off because they were, and you make a joke about that. So it's kind of like I thought it was a really funny joke, but it's almost this moment in the documentary where they're saying culturally we didn't take this seriously enough.
Yeah.
What did you think about that?
I like how they put that because they are right. No matter if you did have a bunch of money to go see Blink 182 or not, you don't deserve to get ripped off, you know? I agree with their statement, but also, I mean, I think what I really liked about it was seeing like the people who got hurt in the Bahamas and the people who had to stay there and that were truly affected more than just like the rich kids who lost a weekend. You know, that's when you really go, oh, okay, this was a real crime. This was a big deal. When it's just some like kid with a trust fund who lost out on a weekend, I'm like, that's funny.
Well, I guess you know the happy ending to all that is that since the documentary, the woman who's at the end of it, who says that she lost about $50,000, started a GoFundMe, and I believe they raised like over $100,000.
Yeah, I
for
saw
her. So
that.
that's really nice.
That's really nice. That makes me happy and feel like, you know, some people are good people.
Yeah, I'm curious. I want to go back to the vision boards thing because I think I want to steal this from you.
Steal it?
Yeah. When did you first make a vision board and what was on it?
I started first making vision boards about 4 years ago. I had my first vision board party. I do them every New Year's Eve.
So you started stand-up 15 years ago or about, right? And
12 years ago.
4 years ago, you started the vision boards.
Yeah. I just heard about them from other people, and I don't really drink anyway. I don't like to party that much. So I was like, oh, it'd be more fun at my house if we just kind of, I'll get the people who do want to drink, I'll buy them some alcohol and some wines or whatever. We'll smoke a bunch of pot and we'll party.
You love smoking pot.
I do like that. I don't know if you could tell from my outfit. And so it's still a fun party. We have fun. We laugh. We're dancing around. But at the same time, we're getting out the glue sticks, getting out the glitter, and we're putting together our goals for the year. So we're focused on that. And then one of the best parts about it is that we then tell each other what our goals of the year is for. So you not only have to write them down, you have to be brave enough to say them out loud and what you want to accomplish. And it's just really fun. We've been doing it. The first year I did it, second year I did it. I was in my apartment complex, and I was just like, I want to get a house, and that I'm going to buy a house for my son. And then we had the next vision board party in that house, and I'm just like, this is working. Let's keep going. Let's put big luxury vehicles on there.
Sport utility vehicles.
Yeah.
The next year, it's just yachts all over it.
Just
huge
pimping yachts out.
One of the things that you talk about in your special, which is really amazing, congratulations. It's no small feat. You lost about 140 pounds, right?
Yeah.
That's incredible. Congratulations. Please give him a round of applause for that. That's such a, it is not an easy thing. So congratulations. How hard was it? How did you do it?
It was very difficult. It was very difficult because I like food a lot, and I smoke a lot of pot, so I eat a lot of candy and munchies, and I worked out 0 times a year, and then I had to turn that around, and now I work out like 5 or 6 times a week, and I rarely eat candy. And it's just a big lifestyle change, but it's just started feeling a lot better and gotten a lot more compliments, and it's been helping my career. The roles that I've been getting have been changing. I went from being like a homeless gyrating guy on New Girl to like making out with ladies in a movie to be coming out later.
Is that true? Is there a movie coming out later this year that you're making out with girls in?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's fantastic.
you. Thank you.
And what prompted that? What gave you the motivation to do that? Was that part of a vision board?
What really prompted that was it was kind of the first bit of success I had. I got on this show called Undateable. It had Chris D'Elia and a couple other friends of mine. And I was just kind of like the fat, shy nerd was the character of that. And it was going great. But I was also I was always very heavy, but I could manage it by the fact that I was also very poor. So I didn't eat that much. But then I got a little bit of money, and then it was just like Postmates every day, just cheesesteaks it up. And then I got up to my heaviest, which was like 360 at my heaviest. And My mom spoke to me, and some friends spoke to me. My mom, remember one Thanksgiving, she came to visit, and she wanted to buy me some clothes, and she's just like, I don't like buying you clothes this size. It doesn't make me feel good as a mom. And that kind of was the thing that opened my eyes to it. And I was able to start working out a bit. Then I got a trainer, and then just straighten it out with diet and exercise, and took a few years, but now I love it. Now I'm really into just working out, and I talk a lot about it in my podcast. It's all about health and getting better at whatever your chosen field is, and I like it, and it's been good motivation for my son as well, because his diet can be a little weird with the autism. He only eats certain things, and so now we're trying to find him the most healthier alternatives to those things, and he's working out a lot more, and I like that.
He's working out too?
Yeah, he's on a treadmill all the time. It's great. It's fun because he hates it, and I get to make him do it either way.
How do you find that affects his moods?
He feels better afterwards, and he likes
getting him
to do it can be rough. He loves to swim. He's a good swimmer. He's always been a big swimmer. And then I'm like, hey, get on that treadmill and stuff. Lean, you get a little slimmer. You'll be a faster swimmer. And he's just always very competitive. Like we will go hiking together. I'm bringing Canyon in LA where I live, and he always, even though he hates doing it, he never wants to go, but he'll never let me beat him to the top. So I'm always like, let's do it then. I'm gonna force you to do your hardest. I love how competitive he is.
Where do you think he gets that from? Are you competitive?
Oh yeah. Yeah, very my family's very kind of low key but competitive. Like, I'm not in your face aggressive, but do I want to win? Yeah, all the time. I hate to lose.
Are you the type of person? I mean, I'm very similar to that. I'm low key competitive, and as soon as someone becomes in my face aggressive, I will just give it up to them.
Yeah.
I'll be like, okay, never mind. I don't want it.
Yeah.
Like, this is annoying now.
Yeah, you're like, you made it not fun anymore because you're all yelling in my face.
But if I can be competitive behind people's back, I'm very competitive.
Oh, that's the best.
It's like, turn around. Okay, we're gonna take that motherfucker
Yeah,
down.
subterfuge. Come on. I love doing that. I love sabotaging.
Such a more fun competitiveness.
Yeah, I like it. I like being good and cheating.
That's exactly what it is on the surface. I'm a good guy. Behind the scenes, I'm cheating my way through.
Yeah, this is the best.
You mentioned your podcast. What's it called?
It's called Getting Better with Ron Funches, and we're just about getting better at life. I have a lot of my friends come on from all aspects of life. I have like comedian friends come on, and then just like the wrestler X-Pac, who's a friend of mine.
You love wrestling.
I do love wrestling. So he came on at Yvette Nicole Brown, and I just asked kind of people who I look up to, their process and how they got to where they are and what they're doing to continue to get better. Because one thing I kind of noticed, or at least I felt on my own, is that there seems to be this kind of wall of people who feel like, oh, I'll never make it and I can't make it, and then people who have made it. And they never understand that anyone who's made it or made it has crossed that gap. So there is a path to follow. There is a thing to do, and people either act like you're either talented or not, and I never felt that way. I feel like talent is like a pool or a source that we can all crawl towards and we can all gain from and gain experience from. And so I asked my friends, one of my favorite episodes, they had Bill Lawrence, who is the guy who made Scrubs, and he made my show, and he just talked an hour about writing and getting better at writing and his process, and I was like, oh man, it's not very often that I can sit in an hour and a half at my house and ask a guy worth $100 million, how did you get here? Yeah. And I know a lot of it is his parents were also rich.
He had time to write.
Yeah, he did have time to write, but he's just a very talented man, and he got a big love for comedy, and that's why we're friends. And it's just, my show is full of guests like that. Emily V. Gordon, who wrote The Big Sick, and we've been friends for years, and just getting to talk to her for about what was that process like. What was it like for me and not for me, but what is it like as a person who's known you as a regular person who's always known you were very talented, and then all of a sudden the rest of the world gets to see that, and then now there's a pressure on you to repeat that. I want to know what that's like, because maybe I'll have to go through that one day, maybe I won't. Either way, I want to know. And we talked for that about an hour and a half.
And that's true, because Emily she was a writer prior to The Big Sick, but she wasn't really doing stand-up like Kumail, right?
No, she didn't do stand-up. She produced shows. She was a producer.
She wrote, I don't want to say blog post sounds derisive, but I mean, she wrote for I think the hairpin or the outline and stuff, not the outline, but the hairpin and the cut, I think, maybe some stuff like that. And then she wrote this movie, and everybody kind of got to see everything that she had to offer, or some of that.
Yeah, a little bit of it, but I, as a person that's known her for years, I always knew she's the best. She's one of the best parts of the comedy community. I was going to say in LA, but in general, she's one of the best parts of the comedy community. Her and Camille are excellent together, and she's amazing, and they're both amazing apart. And so it was just really fun to talk to her for a long time.
Yeah, that sort of pool of talent, those people that we made that we consider made it. How often do you find when you're interviewing them, they don't feel like they've made it? That they're still kind of trying to move across some invisible line or some boundary.
I think 100% of the time. Usually anyone who is I've made it is retired. They're ready to go. They're ready to be put out to pasture. Everyone, I think that's one of the parts that I like talking about with my podcast, is that there is no end to getting better. There is no made it. There's always another goal. That's the thing I learned the first time I did the Conan O'Brien show, because for me, that was my biggest goal, was to get on Conan. To me, he was my biggest comedy hero. And so I did his show, had a great time, killed it, everybody loved it, and then the next day I had to fly back to Portland, Oregon and do an open mic. And I was like, oh, right, life doesn't stop because I reached this one goal. It's going to continue, and so I have to continue to set goals and continue to push myself. And that's what, when people ask me now and anyone's like, oh, you've made it, and I'm like, well, no, I know many of my friends who are just straight crushing it, and I know I am doing way better than I ever thought I would, and I'm happy to continue it, but there's just more to go. And I always say, it's I'm just being told no by more and more important people now, Used to be nobody's telling me no.
Before it was no, my comedy show is booked, and now it's no, I'm sorry.
You can't have this TV show.
Does that feel like a luxury, or does that feel like it's still driving for lack of a better phrase, the fire inside of you?
Both, because I'm aware, to me, it helps keep my mindset, because when I started, I was a single parent, and I came from a place in Salem, Oregon, that's not known for really producing anything. You kind of lived there, and either you escaped or you kind of just went into this mediocre lifestyle. Not to paint a broad stroke, but it just was it was a place where, Anywhere USA, where it's oh, there's nothing going on here. I'm going to just work in a store or something until I die. And now I'm just
work in a store till I die.
Still gonna coal mine. Yes. Have you not been to Salem?
No, I'm not. But I mean, I know. Just if you ever met someone that's no, I'm just gonna work in a store till I die.
Well, you meet a lot of people with apathy when you go what do you want to do? I don't know,
I know, yeah.
And that's fine. You find, especially when you're younger, I always feel like people are in such a rush to find their goals. And I'm always if you don't know when you're 50, maybe that's a problem. But if you don't know when you're 20, who cares? Go out there and explore and find it. But to more answer your question, it's just, it motivates me because I'm going to go, okay, how far can I push my talent? How far can I push this craft? What can I do to just keep getting better? And that just, I'm hopefully I'll keep doing comedy until I'm dead. I don't plan to retire in any form, but so I just keep pushing it. I just don't want to be doing stand-up in the middle of Iowa or Utah for the rest of my life. Hopefully.
It's a stadium.
Yeah, if it's a stadium, I'm doing it he's back. But I want to try all different things. I want to write shows. I want to produce things. I want to, act. I want to just push my talents as far as they will go.
The podcast is called Getting Better, and I think we've only focused on the career aspect of getting better? How much does the podcast focus on sort of internally getting better,
Oh,
getting
a
better as human
bunch.
beings?
A bunch.
That's something that never ends.
Yeah, no, that's your thing. Because the second that you think that you are, you're like, oh no, there's a whole nother part of me I wasn't looking into, and that sucks.
Or that thing I thought I grew out of just came roaring back.
Roaring back. I'm back in this cycle, and that's become part of it. I just love mental health in general and just bettering yourself. And I go to my therapist. And so, yeah, we talk about mental health. We talk about physical health. I had my trainer on an episode. We talk about a lot of things. It's definitely just not about careers. It's about getting better at all aspects of your life, whatever you're choosing to do. If you just want to talk about getting better at jujitsu, we can do that.
How much did you find that you got better as a person and within your career? Obviously within your career because you had to take care of someone, but got better as a person when you found that you had to dedicate so much of your life and so much love to somebody else in your life?
Oh, I think is the best part of my life. Is what, not only as a human being is it the best part of my life. I love being a dad more than anything, more than comedy, more than anything. I love being a dad. It's fun. It made life fun again. It made Christmas fun again. It made things that I took for granted fun and stressful. So I love it. But as a comedian, it gives me a balance that I think makes my comedy a little bit unique, because if you take my son out of my comedy, I'm just a big stoner talking about wrestling and video games. You can get that anywhere. But you balance it with the fact that I'm a grown man who is taking care of a full son as a single parent, and I have all these other aspects part of me, and it makes this nice balance where that's one of the things I love about my shows. I was doing a show last weekend in Maryland, and the amount of full families that were showing. Like this guy was like, oh, I brought my mom and I brought my sister and my wife. And it's literally 6 people in this family are there to see me, and they're all getting something different out of it. And that's the thing I like. And I think that only comes because I have that balance where I can do a joke about weed or wrestling or Persona 5. And then I can do a joke about what it's like to have your son need more discipline.
Was it always your intention to be a family-friendly comic? I don't know if you are necessarily. I mean, I know we define that based off...
I just learned that right now.
I think we define that based off of whether or not someone does blue humor or not. But for the most part, you don't do that much. You don't curse that much or
I don't curse that much, but I'm definitely... they put the E sticker on everything I do, for sure.
Sticker.
But I just like to use everything as a tool. I don't need a jackhammer every time, so I don't curse that much. So I'll use it for flavor, I don't, and it's just my life. If my life was different, if I was a wild guy, if I was like a Jim Norton or somebody out there who's out there doing a crazy life, I would talk about that. But I had a son when I was 20, so it'd be really weird. I'm not out there just snorting coke off a stripper's breast. I've never done that. I would like to, maybe. New experience. But this is my life. My whole life has been I play video games with my son, and I go out and I do these things, and that's just what I talk about. And fortunately, I've been lucky enough that sometimes the things that I naturally love and enjoy have then become popular. Like my love of wrestling is just my lifelong love of wrestling, and then I talk about it, and I talk about The Rock, and then The Rock tweets about my special, and then there's so many more people talking about my special because of The Rock. And it's not because I was like, ooh, if I talk about The Rock, he'll tweet about it. It was just no, I just love The Rock, so this is what I'm going to talk about, and then it lucked out for me. And I think there's a lot of power in just talking about what you love and what you enjoy, and that's what I like talking about.
And you have an appearance from a very famous wrestler. I don't necessarily want to give it away for people who haven't seen it, but at the top of your special, you have a very famous wrestler appearing. What was it like to get him to be a part of it?
It was amazing. It's a big dream come true. One of the things when I knew I was going to do an hour special, and when I knew that it wasn't going to be on Netflix or where it's going to be easily findable, is that I was I want to make it stand out. I want to make it unique, and I want to act as if this is the only hour special I'll ever get. So I put in everything that I would want, and that included working with a hero of mine, and even from the ground up. I mean, it's directed by Bobcat Goldthwait, who's a hero of mine, and I shot it in Seattle at the Neptune Theater, which is a place I love and enjoy, and we used the since I had done so much stuff in the Northwest anyway, we just charged the ticket price. We donated all the ticket money to a women's shelter there, and I just was like, let's do everything I want to do. And so I did all of that, and I got my wrestling friend. Well, just say it, Ric Flair. He's amazing. He a legend, and he's in my special. And he's in no other comedy specials. He's in some rap videos. It's just me and Migos who can get Ric Flair. And I just want to make it unique, and make it fun. I think that especially because there's so many specials. I think if you count the half hours, which I don't, but in January alone, if you count the half hours, there are like 60 specials this month. And so I needed mine to stand out and be unique. And so I think we accomplished that.
I think it also stands out and is unique simply because you have such a unique voice in comedy. Both the literal sound of your voice and also what you talk about. I got to let you go, but I'm curious what's on your vision board now.
Ooh, thank you for asking. I want I do a theme every year. Like last year was take lead, be a leader, because I felt like I had been shirking my duties as a leader. And so last year I was like, just be in charge. If people ask you an opinion, tell them your opinion, And this year my theme was to be committed to everything that you do and do everything 100%. And my relationship, I'm trying to stay committed with. I lost this weight, but I still had like another 20, 25 pounds that I had been going off and on with. I'm committed to losing that. I'm just more committed to my comedy and my career. I want to be in more movies. I booked a movie. I put that up there in December. I booked a movie in January with Adam Devine. And so I was real happy. Things are already working with this board. And I'm just going to try to travel more. I want to go to Japan. I want to go to Australia.
Amazing. Well, Ron, congratulations on all your success. The special is so wonderful. People can see it. It's on Comedy Central. I think people see it on ComedyCentral.com probably.
Get it on
right?
ComedyCentral.com. On the app, it's free. Login free. There's commercials that way though, but there's no login. You could just click on it. It's there. If you want to do me a solid, drop $5 on it on iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, Vudu, PSN, Microsoft Store, everywhere but Netflix, and they know why.
And also people can check out your podcast on iTunes as well, right?
Yeah, Getting Better Podcast is great. We got great episodes. Like I said, Yvette Nicole Brown, Chris D'Elia, Bill Lawrence, X-Pac.
I'm going to go listen to that Bill Lawrence one when we get out of here.
Please.
Ron, thank you so much. Such a pleasure talking to you. Ron Funches, everybody. Let's hear it.